I'm still like, I feel like I haven't snapped back into reality from what happened last night. Um, you know, this took a lot in me to go out and do that. It was my first time being invited to walk the carpet of the Grammys. And of course, when I first found out, I was so excited. I mean, this is the biggest moment of my career so far, to walk the carpet of the Grammys. And I knew that I couldn't just go and not say anything and not do anything. And I knew for a fact that no one else was going to. So I came up with this outfit with an Israeli designer, Ortal. Her brand is made by ILA, Israel and LA. And we designed this dress, and she made it in 3 days, which I'm so grateful for. And I had an Israeli makeup artist named Ortal as well. And I really wanted to make a statement. Again, this is not political. This is not about what side you are on. This is about humanity and about bringing the hostages home. And I think a lot of eyes were opened yesterday. It did get a lot of attention. I was very nervous about it, and I'm so happy that it did get the attention that I feel like it deserved, and I think it opened a lot of eyes.
It certainly got a lot of attention in terms of social media, but you were there on the red carpet. So tell us what the celebrity world, the so-called entertainment world, said. What kind of responses did you get while wearing that huge yellow ribbon? Did people know what it meant?
I got a lot of stares. I feel like a lot of people didn't know exactly what it meant. I had a lot of people come up to me and thanked me for wearing it, yet they weren't wearing anything of their own. I didn't see any yellow pins, which I thought I was going to see a lot more of. And I was a little disappointed that I didn't see any yellow pins. But online, I found out that a few people were wearing them. But when I was there, I was looking and I didn't see any yellow pins. But I did have a lot of people come up to me saying, thank you so much for wearing this. I think a lot of people want to do something. They are just scared. I mean, I've had a lot of people come up to me, even outside of this, saying, thank you so much for what you're doing. I don't want to risk my whole career, and that's why I don't post. That's why I don't share as much, because I don't want to risk my business and lose followers. So, it's really a shame, but I knew that if I had the opportunity, I had to do this for all of the hostage families, all of the hostages, all the Jews around the world, the people of Israel, and it was my responsibility. But Harvey Mason, who you are showing right now, he came up to me and said, I love your dress. Thank you so much for wearing this. So I am so grateful, and I'm so happy you guys showed his speech. He is incredible, and all of us need to thank him many, many, many times, because he's the first person, I feel like, of that status, especially at an award show, to really make a speech like that. So I am forever grateful for him, and he really did a good thing.
And Montana, that message, as you say, was so powerful to hear. That speech on that stage, so important, given exactly what you're saying, given the global audience. Are you surprised that the celebrity world, for the most part, has been so silent on what happens? It is staggering to hear you say there's a risk involved in speaking out, in showing support for civilian hostages held captive by a terror organization. It's staggering to think that it's controversial to show your support. What do you make of that? What is the reason that the celebrity world, by and large, hasn't been outspoken?
It's such a shame, because when there have been other global crisis situations, I feel like a lot of award shows and big platforms have talked about it. And this one is just so sensitive for whatever reason. And I think that I actually had somebody from the Recording Academy saying that Comms was a little upset over my outfit because the Grammys doesn't do anything political. And they said that my outfit was too political. And I let them know that it was not political at all. This is about humanity, and this is not about politics, and this is not about what side you're on or anything of that matter. And so I know that it did upset some people, but for the most part, I think it did make an impact, and that's what we wanted. And the love I've received from parents of the hostages that have messaged me, and people of Israel and Jews around the world. So I hope that I can keep using my platform for moments like this, and I hope other people take note. I hope this inspires others to do the same.
So talk to us about your platform then. What kind of responses have you had to your posts since the war started here?
Well, right after October 7th, in the first 2 weeks, I lost over 50,000 followers. death threats every single day, people saying, your grandparents should have died and now it's your turn and we're not going to stop until you do. Um, I mean, no matter what I post now, even if it's just a casual dance video that has absolutely nothing to do with Israel or with October 7th, I get inundated with comments that have nothing to do with it. People call me a Nazi. People call me a baby killer. It's really terrible how much hate people have inside of them. And I think that after October 7th, it's become socially acceptable to be this hateful and to be this publicly hateful. So it's been interesting because I experienced it. I released my Holocaust educational docuseries called How to Never Forget. Both of my grandparents are Holocaust survivors. So if anyone that's watching hasn't seen it, please check it out because it's really relevant to what is going on today. I went to Poland and I went to Auschwitz. My grandma's a survivor of Auschwitz, and I filmed this series. It's on my YouTube. And what is going on today is almost a direct correlation of what happened during the Holocaust. And so that's why for me, it is so important to use my voice and platform because my grandparents didn't have a voice. My ancestors didn't have a voice back then. And now as a Jew and as someone who's, made it in the entertainment industry from nothing to do with my Judaism, from my dancing, from my singing, from my acting, I now have a voice and I have a platform to reach millions of people around the world of all races, of all religions. And so that's why I won't stop talking about it. And, even before October 7th, before my Holocaust series, I always was about unity. I do videos and collaborate with people of all races, all religions, all walks of life. And so it's really important for me to have unity. And in a time where we are right now, where there's so much separation and so much hate, I hope we can all get back to the love, and especially on social media where there's so much hate. I hope we can get back to a positive place and inspire real change.
And to think that you get threats, a granddaughter of Holocaust survivors, when you're talking about the atrocities that unfolded then and now as well. But Montana, it's so interesting that on the 7th of October, you talk about being a social media influencer. Hamas terrorists filmed what happened, and that is unique in and of itself. In terms of the evidence about what happened, it was there filmed by the perpetrators. Why then do you think it has been so difficult for some people on campuses in the US, not all campuses, but some campuses, and young people who use social media to look at the evidence right there and respond to what Hamas wants you to see?
It's so interesting because growing up, always hearing my grandparents' stories and then hearing people deny the Holocaust, where we have all of the evidence in the world. We have survivors that are still around, thank gosh. In a few years, they're not going to be around, but we have all the documentation. We have all the proof in the world that the Holocaust happened, but there are deniers. And I never fully understood it until now when it's live. I mean, people were posting, Hamas was posting on these victims' Facebook pages for their families to see live
on the day
right after killing them.
The day.
And on the day it happened. There's nothing that could be edited. There's nothing that could be faked. And I think they're just, and I blame social media, unfortunately, because there are so many conspiracy theories. And I think with these platforms, there are hashtags that are popular, like Hitler was right. That was a popular hashtag on TikTok, or Osama bin Laden, or, all the pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine hashtags are what's popular. And we live in a day and age of what's trending and what's popular, and everyone wants to follow the trend. And unfortunately, it's popular to be anti-Israel and anti-Jew right now. So I think that no matter how much proof we give them, they're going to be these deniers and people going against us because of all these conspiracy theories and all these other forms of content that are going viral that go against the proof that we have. And so for me, that's why it was so important for me to get to Israel. And that's why I went to Israel, to make sure I meet with as many people as I can, to show as much as I can, to really try to say, hey, look, this is me. I'm here. I'm physically here. I met with 3 hostages that were released, young girls, a 7-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 21-year-old. I met with parents that are every day pleading to have their children back. And I think that by me showing these personal stories, it actually really has, not as much as it should, but it has impacted. And I have received messages of people saying, thank you for sharing this story. I now see it differently. Thank you. So that's why it's so important to keep posting, no matter who you are, even if you have 1 follower or 1 million followers, keep posting, keep sharing, keep talking about it, because you never know the effect you can have on one person. That ripple effect, it could be massive. So affect one person, you never know how many other people you're going to affect.
And we're looking at images on the screen as you're talking when you were here in Israel, meeting Israelis, meeting survivors as well, and hostages who had been released. So important. And perhaps that helps to change the narrative for young people around the globe to actually come to the country. Very briefly, in terms of changing that narrative, what do you think needs to happen in 30 seconds?
I hope everyone can go to Israel. Israel is the most incredible place. And I went first on Birthright 10 years ago, and I went again, now. And I cried the day I had to leave. It is the most beautiful country with the people of all races, all religions, all living together. And there's so much love there and so much pride. And I just think that all these misconceptions about Israel will really go away once you visit. And I hope every single person in the world can visit Israel at some time in their life.